my God, we are live. What is going on, everybody? If you are joining us on Twitter, thank you guys so much for joining us on the YouTube. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's about that time, boys. I'm your host, Landon Oliver. Welcome to the Three Man Rush podcast here with one of my two co-hosts, and that is our boy, Big Jared Holly. What's going on, big dog?
Not too much, man. It's you and me against the world tonight, I guess. Gonna do some DFS, do a little lineups, get ready for Sunday. This is a fun time of the week right here where I run a ton of lineups and second guess every single thing I do. That's what DFS is all about. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah. Well, you better mute that phone, Big Jared.
Well, I just got notification we were live. So.
Oh, okay. So you see it, even your phone's like, oh shit, here we go. Well, if you are joining us, you're familiar, hopefully with our content. And if not, what we do here on these episodes is Jared is our DFS specialist. Dude plays DFS on an almost daily basis at this point. I mean, we're talking about waking up at 3 a.m. for Korean baseball. We're talking about League of Legends. He's about that life, like Attila. If you're an Attila fan, he's about that life. But yeah. So, but his main thing is he's, obviously football. So what we do here is we give you our matchups that we kind of look forward to. We go ahead, give you a smash or pass section, which means we go through quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and tight end, give you a player that's going to smash, give you a player that's going to be a bust, basically, that we're passing on for the week. Then at the end of this, what we're going to do is give you a free FanDuel lineup to play along with us that we're going to set here live on the show. And then we're also doing a Draft Kings. So if you're playing Draft Kings, don't feel left out. We got you covered here too. Not going to be, not behind a paywall. You don't have to do anything other than just hang out with us, talk football. And throughout the video, if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube or anything, got any questions about, some stuff you want to talk about? We're here to talk about some stuff too. So go ahead, throw some comments up there, and we'll answer your questions live here on the air. It's time though. There was some news though. So first off, before we get into this, Thursday night game last night fucking sucked. Once again, it's like I don't know, like how bad can these get?
Al Michaels was even like, whoa, like he was talking about like
he's regretting.
Yeah, he was like, I promise there will be a touchdown tonight at some point.
I know, like it said, like at one point we had went like 70 something. Oh, I can't remember what it was, like 76 minutes.
Game minutes, yeah.
Yeah, 76 game minutes from last Sunday or last Thursday to this Thursday without a touchdown.
That's
like,
insane.
man, that's pretty rough. So, yeah, pretty terrible. I know there's a lot of Justin Fields talk. I actually put a video up on Twitter earlier just because of how much Justin Fields talk there was. Just kind of clarifying some of the statements. I mean, if you're interested in that, you can watch the video. If not, you want to throw some questions up here. I'll answer some questions live. But yeah, that poor kid. Poor kid.
It's a rough time right now. Football scores across the border down though.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad offense, man. There's a lot of bad offensive line play, a lot of bad quarterback play, a lot of bad coordinators. Not getting their teams and prepared or in the position to be successful. But there was some Colts news tonight. Big J, I don't know if you saw this, that Nick Foles has now officially been leapfrogged in the rotation. Looks like Sam Ehlinger is your new backup quarterback for the Colts. Wait, what do you got to say? Come on. I like it personally. I like Sam. I'm a big Sam fan.
I mean, unless Matt Ryan gets hurt, I think they have to play Matt Ryan at this point. I don't think they can pitch him.
I don't think there's any threat of that. But it's interesting to see. I think a lot of it's due to Sam's mobility, his ability to create with his legs and kind of escape the pocket. As we know, there hasn't really been a ton of pockets there in Indianapolis here
No.
over the first 6 weeks. So having a mobile guy that can get out, make some plays with his legs, still throw the ball, smart, can run some RPOs, stuff like that. I think that's kind of what they're looking for. And then even that, like, I know they said like there's even possible some like goal line packages with him, I would imagine, or like fourth down packages where he's able to use his legs, maybe run some zone read, some stuff like that. It's kind of curious. It could be a little fun.
Yeah, I mean, if they can disguise that offensive line's performance in any way, shape, or form and get creative, then I'm all for it, man. That offensive line is really underachieved this season, which is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like I say that about like every other team we talk about, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of underachieving. Definitely a lot of underachieving for sure.
Yeah. Well, what we're not going to do is underachieve on these lineups this week. We are going to hit for money. So if you are not watching, you're missing out on a chance for, just some free content and some free money in your pocket. What are you doing here? Let's go ahead.
Good week too. There's a lot of good plays this week.
Yep. So let's go ahead, get into everything. So we have we're gonna start with quarterbacks, man. Which has been kind of just been like the crux of the DFS position here lately. But so first off, I just want to hit on like what are some of the matchups that you're possibly looking for whenever you're looking at quarterbacks, stuff like that. I mean, like me personally, if I'm looking for a quarterback to play, like whether it's in fantasy, like if I'm having to stream a quarterback in 2 quarterback leagues or something like that, something I kind of look for. First off, I look at weather, whether they're playing with a dome, whether it's outside, something like that. And then once, I kind of determine that, then I kind of look at, okay, well, who's the defensive matchup they're going against? Is it something where they're playing against Detroit, or are they playing against a team like, the Bills this week, for example, they're going up against 2 rookie, cornerbacks, kind of the same thing with Patrick Mahomes. The Bills are throwing out some rookies out there too. So, you've got some of those matchups you're kind of looking at and stuff too. What's something that you kind of look at?
So with DFS, I look at ownership primarily more than anything else. I try to leverage against that, which obviously this week it really wouldn't take a whole lot of rocket science. The most popular game is most likely going to be Kansas City and Buffalo. It has the highest points total, and there's a lot of studs on both sides of the ball. I think if you're going to attack that game, there's multiple ways to do it. You're either going to pay up for the Josh Allens and Stephon Diggs and the Kelseys, or the Mahomes, Kelsey stacks. There's some key pieces in this game that I think could go undervalued. So to kind of start with our smash spot, I will not be playing either Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes because of ownership reasons. I really like Lamar Jackson this week.
Well, I really like Lamar Jackson every week. He's
coming in right now on FanDuel at under 10% ownership. And they are their favorites. I think they have a 25-point team total. And if you're going to play Lamar Jackson against the Giants play a lot of man coverage. It makes sense at this point. Pay up at tight end. You solidified the position that nobody really knows is going to go off at. And go ahead and get Mark Andrews and do your stack with Lamar and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing. A guy that I'm actually kind of looking at this week is possibly Joe Burrow out there with the news that Marshawn Lattimore is now out of that game.
That's huge, yeah.
That's a big loss there. So this could be a really good matchup there for Jamar Chase. Whether you want to do the stack there with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, whether you want to go with a guy like Tyler Boyd in that, I think this could be a good week for Joe Burrow in that passing offense now that Lattimore is out.
Yeah, T. Higgins is questionable, but that could be a huge thing too. Where, if T. Higgins if he's healthy, no Lattimore, I mean, it makes the Saints defense a completely different team. You could double stack Chase and Higgins with Joe Burrow, and you're going to be different. No one's going to be on that for sure. I can't imagine either one of those guys being close to 10% ownership at this point. Jamar Chase. Yeah, I mean, you're talking very low ownership for both guys. Jamar Chase is currently at 5%, and T. Higgins, we're looking at 3% ownership.
Yeah,
so
which I don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. It is kind of a questionable thing.
Yeah, he's questionable.
Got a shout out. I know Drew is not with us. If you're wondering, he is at his son's baseball game, being a good father that he is. But we did get a shout out. Let's go, fellas! Our boy Big Drew tapping in with us here. So we appreciate the support, Big Dog. Can't wait to have you back next week. Hopefully after a really good weekend of football. So
I had $5 on Caesar Sportsbook right now for Drew's son to hit at least a multi-bagged single or double.
He's hitting for the cycle, maybe.
He's hitting for the cycle.
It's like plus
5 into 500.
Yeah, plus 7,500 odds on Drew's son to hit for the cycle tonight. So good chance he gets that done.
Who are you passing on this week at quarterback?
Yeah, so some of the guys that I'm passing on, one of the guys that I'm really just kind of like not huge on this week. I don't necessarily know if it's I don't know. Like, because pretty much you kind of touched on it a little bit because you had Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and like those are going to be like the two like huge guys. And I mean, like, I know like sometimes you just want to say fuck it and just kind of play for chalk, but I mean, those guys are going to come in with like such huge ownership. A guy that kind of might be sneaky, but I do kind of worry about a little bit is Kirk Cousins this week.
I like it.
Yeah, well, not necessarily because I don't think he'll have a good game. I think with the news of them getting, going with their third string quarterback there in Miami, there's a chance that game gets out of hand relatively early, and they're going to be running the ball with Madison a lot there and with Dalvin Cook and stuff like that. So I think that could be like kind of more of a big rushing game for them just because of the game script. So that would kind of be a guy that it's a good matchup theoretically, and obviously, he's got the weapons. Osborne's playing really well. Justin Jefferson's just, on another level. Thielen's out there, but I think that game has the propensity to possibly get out of hand pretty early. And
but if it stayed close, it would be super.
That's a huge if.
Yeah, it's a big if.
With Skylar Thompson.
We don't know Skylar Thompson. We don't know what could come.
Well, I mean, I know Skylar Thompson, so that's a big if. It's a big ask. I mean, he played well. He played well in the. I'll give him this. He did have some good moments there in the preseason, which lets you know just how much of a fiend I truly am. Because yes, I did watch Dolphins preseason. But yeah, he had some good moments in the preseason. But overall, like I think when the live bullets are flying out there, it's a whole different ballgame.
If you wanted to totally galaxy brain a Kirk Cousins double stack with Thielen and Jefferson and have like Jalen Waddle as a run back, you could still like have plenty of salary for all these low priced running backs.
Yeah, and see, like I think too, there's kind of a game plan as well that kind of makes me want to fade Cousins because even from the Miami side, I think the clear path to success for them is going to be to get the run game going and have ball control to keep that offense off the field. So I think even that can kind of play into, time of possession battle there.
Slowing the game down.
Yeah, so that's just kind of like my thinking on it. That's kind of where I'll go. Big question is, with you being the DFS guy, who is your pass this week at quarterback?
So I mean, there's some definite there's some areas at quarterback for passing on. Kyler Murray, like to me, like it's a juicy matchup against Seattle, but at the same time, I think if you play Kyler, like I'm passing on Kyler this week personally. Rondale Moore is going to be very popular because he's dirt cheap, and I just don't trust it. I just don't trust the Cardinals enough. The one guy I do trust with the Cardinals right now is Marquise Brown. I think Marquise Brown can have a really big game. If he doesn't, it means Kyler Murray probably has a big game, but I'm willing to pass on both, and that's my pass of the week is Kyler.
I know this was your guy actually, but I do kind of get a little bit nervous about Lamar this week. just from the aspect of one, Rashad Bateman is once again rolled out this week, and two, he's going up against his old defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, who knows the strengths of Lamar Jackson, also knows the weaknesses of Lamar Jackson. He knows how to exploit him. He had to go up against against him basically his entire career. So, and the way that defense is playing right now, it's been fantastic. Good chance, they're getting healthier as well. They're playing really good on the back end. So between the weapons not being fully healthy, J.K. Dobbins is back, so they could possibly run the ball a little bit more. And then on top of that, like just going with the narrative of like, hey, I know how to neutralize what this guy does best from the defensive coordinator standpoint there.
I mean, that's valid points. I look at it as like, okay, theoretically, who can outscore Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes that's going to come in at half of the ownership of those guys? And to me, there's really only one true cut person that can. That's Lamar Jackson.
With Geno Smith.
Geno's not a bad play this week. He's not. I think he'll fly under the radar too because of some of these games. Yeah, Geno's under 10%. He's extremely easy to stack. That's the thing.
Yeah, DK and Tyler Lockett. Yeah.
It's mispriced. It really is. But I think anybody that plays Geno, like it's hard to get different because Seattle's going to be very popular this week as well. Playing Arizona, especially with the running back situation with Seattle and Arizona for that matter. Both of those guys are going to be super chalky. Benjamin and Kenneth Walker. So. I don't know. I think if you're just truly trying to get different, obviously the chalks hit the last 2 weeks. Like it's killed me the last 2 weeks because the chalks hit so hard.
No, man, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, like sometimes you just.
But when it fails, you're skyrocketing up the leaderboards. That's what you play for. If you're playing the min cash, then you obviously want to play like a little bit balanced. If you're playing to win this thing, you gotta look for leverage. Leverage is key, and this is basically like trying to differentiate your lineup. And you can still play these games like Buffalo, prime example. So I'm looking at if I play Kyler or if I play Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, in my head and what I'm thinking is they're going to outscore either Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, which is possible, or they're going to outscore Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, which is also possible. But if I wanted a piece of that game, I'd play Devin Singletary, who seems to always have a good game when the games are close. And, this game has I think Buffalo's a 2-point favorite, if I remember correctly. So Devin Singletary could play a big role in this game and, get in the end zone a couple of times.
I don't know. I just worry about this week because, like I said, with the lack of options being there in the passing game for Lamar, I think it could, be a heavy run week. And I know Mark Andrews is fantastic, but I mean, if I'm the defensive coordinator and I know what Lamar does best, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away Mark Andrews. He's going to be bracketed, with safety and linebackers pretty much all day. And I'm going to try to, I'll use a spy on Lamar, which granted, end of the day, he's still going to get it. He's going to get his in the run game. But if you're telling me like, he has under 200 yards passing and 100 yards rushing, then that's probably a recipe for success. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So it just makes me nervous going against, and not only that, but man, like the Giants are like, they're playing good football, man. And I know everybody, they're waiting for them to fail and they're waiting for them to be frauds. And like I hear it every single week. And who knows? This might be the week. But as of right now, like they're winning games. They're playing good football, and their defense has been a really big part of that.
Yeah, I mean, and Saquon is going to go under the radar this week too because of all this cheap running backs. So I mean, no, he's not actually. He's not really under the radar. I thought he might be, but no. there's a ton of different ways to play this week, and that's the cool thing about DFS is, it's with redraft, you got to wait all year round. With DFS, you play whoever you want every week. It's something different. But so we'll move on past quarterback if you're ready, Big Landon. Where are we heading to next?
Well, if we're not doing quarterbacks, we're going to go with running backs. So right now, we hit our running back smash or pass of the week. This one for me is like super easy, and I don't even know what the ownership is or anything. Like, who knows with everything, but I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be a huge game this week.
It's kind of hard not to play Ramondre.
Well, there's two guys in particular, and I'm sure they're both like super like popular and all that, and I get it. But it's Ramondre Stevenson and Breece Hall. Those are the two guys I'm targeting this week.
Breece Hall might not be too bad off, actually. Cause,
there was a stat. I remember, we talked about it the other day on the episode, but running against the Green Bay Packers is basically producing the same EPA as Aaron Rodgers during his MVP seasons when he's throwing the ball. So right now, running the ball against the Packers is just as effective as letting an MVP all-time Hall of Fame quarterback throw the ball. And Breece Hall's, the usage is going up. He's getting more work in the pass game. He looks fantastic. It's all the signs point to him having a very good day.
Well, you'd be happy to know he's at 5% ownership.
Well, then I am locking Breece Hall into every lineup I have.
And he's $400 cheaper than Ramondre, which I think Ramondre is a smash play. You're obviously playing with the field on Ramondre, but at the same time, there's no other competition in the backfield. With Damian Harris, I think he's questionable. He's not officially been ruled out yet, but the likelihood of him playing is next to nothing. This is what the season-long players have been waiting for, is free Ramondre Stevenson. He's finally...
Which, as we know, it'll be J.J. Taylor or somebody else.
This is the Belichick FU scenario. Yeah, I do worry a little bit about it. I don't know if I'll play Ramondre.
It's Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth
Walker's a good play as well. I think if you're going to get a little bit different, Ramondre is actually at a little bit lower ownership than Kenneth Walker. Benjamin only on the ground says he's 1,000 more than Walker and 1,200 more than Eno.
Yeah, and Eno's got a good matchup as well. Seattle's got a lot of injuries there. There's no other running back on and frankly, he's looked like the best running back on the team so far. So now he has clear workload. This could be a really good week for kind of some lesser name backup running backs.
Yeah. Someone that I think is kind of flying under the radar, he's got 12% ownership, which is not too bad considering what these other running backs are getting as Aaron Jones this week against the Jets. The Packers are going to want to come out and make a statement, or at least attempt to, with that offense. No Christian Watson. He's ruled out already. So
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, honestly, though.
No, it could be Romeo Doubs and Aaron Jones. Could be Alan Lazard.
Lazard, baby.
There's some options in that game to get a little different. So I smash this week. I know you're big on Breece Hall. I think that's a good call. I'm going to pay up a running back just to be different. I'm going to go Alvin Kamara this week against Cincinnati.
Alvin Kamara against Cincinnati. That could be a good matchup as well. All right, so now let's get into our bust of the week, guys, that we are not huge fans of, that we think could be rough plays. And I will let you go ahead. And do you have anybody in mind?
Yeah, actually, I do, man. I don't trust Leonard Fournette this week. I think, Rashard White's kind of coming around. They're bringing him more in the offense. Fournette's right now, like he's carrying about 12% ownership in a matchup too where Tampa Bay should win this game pretty easily. But in the same time, like, how are they going to win this game? Is this going to be a Tom Brady statement game where he can't go up top with Mike Evans? All of the weapons are pretty much back for him. At this point, I think Fournette's still going to get the volume, but I don't like Fournette in this situation.
Yeah, for me, like, it's kind of weird, due to my hat, but I'm still probably passing on Jonathan Taylor this week. I know he's probably going to be a little bit lower owned than what he would be normally.
Oh, he's got like no ownership.
Yeah, so, but, that's a guy still, he did practice for the last few days. Good chance he ends up playing in this game, but that offensive line is still a huge mess. I don't trust it until I see it, that they're actually put together and creating running lanes for him, not to mention, bad offensive line, high ankle sprain, bad offense in general. Yeah, it's something I'm probably staying away from at least for another week until, either that offensive line shows me they're playing a little bit better or until he's fully healthy again, to where he can, bust some plays and, do the normal Jonathan Taylor thing. So,
yeah, if you ever wanted to play Jonathan Taylor, it would be this time because he's like at 8K, I believe. Like he's the lowest I've seen him in a very long time.
yeah, 8,000 is where he's at. So that would be my pass right now of the week.
I'd trend that direction as well.
Yeah. All right, so now let's get into our wide receivers smashes of the week. Wide receivers. So some of the guys that I'm looking for, obviously, I told you earlier, I was big on Jamar Chase, with Marshawn Lattimore being out. And then on top of that, they're playing at New Orleans. It's in a dome. On that turf there, everything gets a little bit quicker. T. Higgins possibly still banged up. So, I think he could be a target hog this week, as well as, obviously anytime he touches the ball, he has the ability to break the offense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Chase is a great play. That's sneaky as well. If Olave plays, I think he's a good play as well. I like Kamara in this game. Like, it's stackable. This game is very stackable, where no one's going to play. And I think it's going to get extremely low ownership with if you wanted to go for Burrow, Chase, Alvin Kamara, like bring back. So yeah, I mean, that's a great call. My smash and wide receiver this week would probably, it's tough. I'll tell you a sneaky play this week. I'll give you one of those real quick. Kind of like Cleveland's wide receivers this week a little bit. And if you really,
I was actually going the opposite way.
Oh, okay. I do like Cleveland's wide receivers this week. I think there's definitely some avenues for some sneaky plays now, like Amari Cooper. And then the one guy that I'm totally in on this week, man, and it's scary to say it out loud, but I like Donovan Peoples-Jones this week is a sneaky play. I think if he can get loose like one good time, then he could not necessarily break a slate, but open up so much salary where you can pay up for some studs.
This is also another former quarterback versus the defensive kind of mind, especially with Belichick, because Belichick drafted Jacoby Brissett. He knows his ins and outs. He knows his weaknesses. And we already know what Belichick does. He's going to take away your biggest weapon. And for them, like in the passing game, I think where it could play into your hands is he's going to do everything he can to neutralize the running game. He's going to make Jacoby Brissett throw the ball to beat them. I still don't necessarily trust it. They have, once again, it just seems like this is every single year. They draft a no-name cornerback in the late rounds. Kid comes in, ends up being a star. That kid Jones they drafted, playing extremely good football, man. Really, I'm so sick of New England constantly finding these guys late that turn into great players. But that's what they do. They draft and develop on the defensive side of the ball, almost better than anybody in football. So that's
I
kind of my
definitely feel like they're going to try to neutralize that running game. I agree with you 100%.
yeah. They'll make Jacoby Brissett throw the ball to beat them. That's kind of where they're heading. On the other side of that, though, a guy that I've liked for years now.
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, Jacoby
I
Myers.
like Jacoby Myers this week as well.
I love Jacoby Myers. He's just a fantastic route runner. He's such a good route runner, man. He's always open, sure-handed. Like he's not gonna, I know there was the joke about him never getting into the end zone. Years ago.
Last week.
Yeah, he did last week, and not only that, but he had a ton of targets last week. That guy's just a target because he's always open. That's a guy that I really like this week, and I've liked him for a long time. So it's kind of cool to see him in his first game back, healthy. He goes out and performs, and he's only going to get healthier as hopefully as the season goes on. So that's a guy that I want to play.
Currently at under 5% ownership too.
Oh yeah, I'm all about that.
Deep tournament plays, large field tournaments. I think you could play both of those guys we just mentioned, and hope for that game to kind of shoot out a little bit, which it doesn't have a high total. But the one thing with DFS too is obviously Vegas spreads mean something, but at the same time, like if your guys just get loose for 2 touchdowns, and if it's individual performance, then you're looking really smart when you're just lapping everybody. But it's definitely a gamble with Donovan Peoples-Jones. But I think that they're going to have to throw the ball, like Landon said, and they're going to try to, if they're going to take out Amari Cooper. In that scenario, he could get loose for one big one. That's all you really need at that salary. So it could be a good one.
Yep. All right. So now let's get into some passes here at the wide receiver position. I'm going to go extreme hot take this week. Pass it on Cooper Kupp. I know it's kind of
right now everyone is.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's surprising. I know it's kind of blasphemy at this point, to not think that guy's going to produce, and I still don't think he's going to have a bad game. But one, you're having to pay $9,400 for him, so you're having to pay an extremely high price to get him. Rightfully so, he's earned that, but he is also questionable. He's banged up. On top of that, Carolina, their defense is still really good. J.C. Horn is turning into one of the best cover corners in football. Jeremy Chinn's still a fantastic safety. Not only that, but I know we talked about this when we did our matchup preview of this game. Whenever there's a coaching change like that, for a couple weeks there, that team kind of seems to get a little bit of extra oomph in them. They play a little bit harder. They play a little bit faster. They kind of want to make some noise there. So I think that this could be kind of a shocker as far as how this game plays out. I don't know if the Rams will lose this game, but I think it could be lower scoring than what people think it will be. Not only that Rams offensive line right now is a complete disaster. Carolina has a really good defensive line, man. Brian Burns, obviously, fantastic player. Brown, really great in the interior there. So just combined with that, and it's a lot of stuff that's kind of going into that, to where I'm just like, you know what, I'm probably staying away from that matchup. Don't want to pay the Cooper Kupp price. Not that I don't think he's a good player or anything like that, or that I think he won't be effective, because he's always effective in some form. But the injury, the matchup, the game flow, the offense in general in LA, the Carolina defense, it all kind of adds together to say, like, hey, it's probably going to take a pass this week on Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I feel you. I think obviously him being 9,400 on FanDuel it's going to be really hard to get to him. My pass for the week is Rondale Moore. I think he's not the superstar Cooper Kupp is, but the guy is coming in at 15% ownership, and there's nothing that justifies that to me. I know they're playing Seattle, who's got a very awful defense, but in the same merit, obviously you're saving a ton of salary by playing Rondale, and Marquise Brown is like Hollywood Brown. He's 8,200, which is crazy for Marquise Brown, but he's getting all the work. and he's definitely the alpha receiver right now, and for at least another week until they get Hopkins back. Marquise Brown is coming in at about 4% ownership. So if you want a piece of that, I think that's the guy to go with. I would pass on. Oh shoot, I forgot who. Rondell Moore.
Yeah, I will say too, a sneaky player as well that I am kind of looking at is Alec Pierce. I think Alec.
I like Alec Pierce too.
I like Alec Pierce.
5,900.
Yeah, 5,900. So that could be a really good play as well if you're looking for kind of like a deeper guy to plug into one of these lineups. All right, so now let's get into our final position, that is tight ends. Now, Jared, you obviously touched on this earlier a little bit with your Mark Andrews statement. As far as your smash goes, is that a guy that you're probably sticking with there?
Yeah, I think Andrews and Kelsey are obviously the two tight ends everyone's going to target this week because it's a rough tight end slate, which is pretty much every week. But this week, kind of more than ever. Currently, right now, Tyler Higbee is the most owned tight end, so people are paying down at tight end. So you're being different by paying up at for the position, but there's just not a heck of a lot to choose from. I think if you want to get creative and if you want to pay down, and to take kind of your stance like you did with Minnesota earlier, like one thing that I look for on a team that's a heavy favorite is the running backs, but the other element of that, I think, with tight ends in games where they get out of control, like Minnesota and Miami could, with Minnesota potentially just blowing them out of off the field, is a tight end gets in the end zone once or twice. It's like a contrarian take on that. With that being said, I like Irv Smith as a smash this week. At next to nothing ownership. You could pay down at the position. It opens up a lot. He's 4,900 right now.
I've got somebody cheaper than 4,900. I have a very, very, very deep sleeper. Probably never even heard of this guy, and I'll kind of explain my reasoning behind this. And that's Zach Gentry for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
they're going to be trailing, and they're going to have to throw the ball. So.
Well, Pat Freiermuth obviously rolled out this game. You have a rookie quarterback making his, second start of the season, official. He did play in one game, but this is second official start. And as we know, what is a rookie quarterback's best friend? It is their tight end. Not only that, but if he was served as the second string tight end in practice, whenever Kenny Pickett's doing second string reps in practice, they're developing chemistry. He's been throwing to him in practice now for probably the majority of the season. Whenever he's not getting first team reps. So you have a guy that he's probably a little bit more comfortable with. He's been practicing with him. Now both those guys are thrown into starting roles. Rookie quarterback going to a blanket. He
had 6 targets in like one half last week too.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So, that's what you kind of look for there. Right now, he's going as 4,600. Right now, it's super dirt cheap. And so if you're not willing to pay up for one of those big guys and you kind of want to take a punt on a guy that could possibly garner some targets, that's probably the direction I'm kind of going with this week.
I don't hate it whatsoever. You could always Andrews is coming in at like 13% too, so you can easily punt the position and pay up for a stud wide receiver, or you can pay up for Marquise Brown at 4% ownership at that point and justify it.
Yeah. And so now, we talked about some guys that we like, some guys we don't like this week. Guy that I'm probably not playing at all, other than Pat Freiermuth, I'm going back to the Rams game in Carolina. I'm probably staying away from Tyler Higbee this week.
Same. That was my pass as well. Highest owned tight end on the slate. I just don't. He's not explosive. He's gonna get some catches, but I don't know. He doesn't really get in the end zone. Not a whole lot to like, especially if he's gonna be the highest owned guy. It's an easy pass for me.
Yeah. So with both of us having Tyler Higbee, we'll see. What's Taysom Hill's ownership looking like? I'm kind of curious.
It's probably next to nothing, and it's scary because we seen last week he can totally wreck a game. But
what's the thing with that guy is like It's at what?
2.
2%?
Yeah, it would be less than that if he wouldn't have had the game he had last week. But
Yeah.
you
And
just
that's
don't know.
Andy
He's not
Dalton
a full-time
starting.
player. It's just hard to. And he's 7,500 now too, which makes it even worse to get to him. So
Yeah, that's just crazy. So that kind of brings in what we're kind of looking at this week. So any guys that you have that you're not fans of, you are fans of. Big Drew said he'll be on in like 10 minutes if we want
I've
to.
seen that.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, we'll go ahead and wait for you. But what we'll do real quick, we'll go ahead and drop our FanDuel lineup. So now we've kind of been sitting here talking about it. So if you are joining us on here, what we're going to be doing is giving out a free FanDuel lineup. We do this just about every Friday on the live show. It's not locked behind a paywall like other big sites or other guys that want you to subscribe to their stuff. Of course, we would love it if you did. We're never going to say no to that, but it's just something we do out of the goodness of our heart to, thank you guys for supporting us and hopefully have a chance to play the same lineups that we're looking at, some of the guys that we want to play and win some money along with us on Sunday. As they say, gambling brings you closer together. So or tears your whole family apart and you lose everything. It just kind of depends on what avenue you want to go there. So yeah, FanDuel lineup of the week, Big Jared.
Yeah,
let's get started with our quarterback.
1 second here.
You're gonna kick it off.
Yeah. Share a screen with you here.
So we're gonna build a lineup. We'll share Jared's screen. Hopefully,
a few moments here.
Yeah, here in a few moments. So
screen. Boom. Here we go.
There we go. Let's add this to the stream.
All right. So let's see here.
So you already got some lineups built in there. Just
yeah.
Listen how your balance has shrank.
Yeah, I've already started building a little bit for the week. So the balance shrank on its own a little bit too this last week because of the freaking shot killed.
Oof.
I'm gonna let you start, man. I'm gonna let you start with quarterback and then give us a stack real quick.
Wow, I do like the quarterbacks this week. So what I'm probably gonna do, man, a guy that I said I really liked. I do like Joe Burrow this week. I'm a big Joe Burrow guy this week. I think, like I said, with Marshawn Lattimore being out, they have some other injuries there along that defense. I think this could be a big week for Cincinnati. Even though I'm pretty sure I picked New Orleans to win this game in the thing, but I think this is going to be a high scoring affair for both teams.
I'm with you. So you want to go chase with him? I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm totally good with that. To keep the theme, I said Kamara earlier. I'm sticking with it. And that gives us a game stack at that point. So I like Alvin Kamara as a bring back.
Yeah. All right. So now another guy, obviously, that I was really high on this week, throwing in Breece Hall. They're at the other running back spot.
All right.
Breece Hall is going to be a baller.
Breece Hall. All right. So, we got our ownership is real low, man. I love it. Let's play your boy at tight end, man. Let's just keep. I want to give you some money to play with here. Gentry, tight end.
Pittsburgh.
What is his salary? It's got to be like
4,600.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
There he is at the very bottom there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Gentry.
I love it. I'm actually gonna, you did me a favor. I'm actually gonna do you a favor, but it is also a guy that I really like. I'm throwing in Jacoby Myers.
Okay. All right.
And
I like this lineup is super contrarian. I love it. What's Jacoby running at salary wise?
66.
Good deal. Jacoby Myers, knee. He should be good to go though.
Yeah.
He played last week. All right. So what are we looking like? 5,800. We haven't even picked a defense yet. You want to pick a low end defense, or are you thinking something different?
Let me look here. Let me look at some of the matchups that I'm
kind of like Cincinnati or New Orleans defense before the injury in Lattimore, but
I mean, obviously the 49ers defense is probably going to be relatively high owned. That Carolina defense,
I was going to say I love it. I think it's a good call.
Could be interesting.
Let's play Carolina's defense.
Sorry, Drew.
He'll understand. He knows. So you got wide receiver and flex, man. You take your pick. Which one you want to pick?
13-8 still left over. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with wide receiver, man. I'll go with the wide receiver matchup in this. And
man, I've got to get my computer is just acting.
I tell you what. On a long shot here, I think Alec Pierce gets into the end zone this week.
Ooh, man, this is a.
I do. I think this is the week Alec Pierce gets into the end zone. So that gives us a ton of money to get crazy with in our flex spot.
7,900.
And that's where I'll.
Ooh. Man. Let's see here. 7,900. There's so much you can do with that kind of money.
Yeah. Give you the pick of the litter right here.
A super contrarian play would be. Oh man.
Benjamin.
He's super popular though.
Oh,
I just want a low owned roster, and this team is like the ultimate GPP team. I don't see. Oh, come on now. I don't see how we don't do it, man. Let's go. Let's go Debo against Atlanta.
I like that.
All right, so that's the lineup. You ready for it?
Let's go ahead.
Joe Burrow, Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, Jamar Chase, Jacoby Myers, Alec Pierce, Zach Gentry, Debo Samuel, Carolina's defense.
Let's lock it in. You just got it submitted.
There's $5 more on
it. I got 5 on it.
You ready for DraftKings?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to our DraftKings lineup now. Also, too, man, if y'all are playing along with us, if it's something that you're interested in, Drew, you said Carolina defense probably is a good play too. It feels bad. Hey, like you said, he knows. It's it's hard out here if you're a Colts or a Rams fan. I actually don't have much sympathy though. You just want a fucking Super Bowl, so
it's hard to feel sorry for Drew.
It's like going to cry in your Mercedes Benz at that point. Like you go cry in my Benz. Yeah. So let's go.
I got the screen up. Look at that 69-cent balance. You can tell we're up.
He's not a big DraftKings guy, are you?
And I like DraftKings. I don't know. It's because I've always had a balance with FanDuel. I just keep playing it. I don't know. I have better luck there.
You like what you like. That's all right.
You like what you like.
You like what you like. There's nothing wrong with that.
So what are you thinking on this one, homie?
Quarterback. Here we go again. Like Drew said, he's wiping his tears with a Lombardi. I don't feel bad for you. Let's go ahead here. Let's do your Lamar play. Let's throw your Lamar play out there. I know that was a guy you were high on with him and Andrews, the stack there. So
let's go that route.
Let's go ahead and throw that one in there. And then I'll
pass. Have to save some money for sure now. So
remember, isn't DraftKings is full point PPR. So
Ramondre Stevenson's just. How do you get away from it at this point?
I want one lineup with Ramondre at least. I want Ramondre this week.
Yep.
Which really, like I said, we should be looking at the New England backup this week. That's because that's where the carries are going. You know how this fucking goes. Okay, other running back. Raheem Mostert is kind of curious. He's getting a ton of work down there in Miami. And I do think that's kind of where their success is going to have to be. So, or wait a minute. With the news today that Cam Akers news, that's pretty big news there.
Darrell Henderson?
Man, where's Darrell Henderson at?
He's probably next to nothing. 5,100.
Oh yeah, look at that. I know we picked Carolina's defense, and I still don't trust that offensive line, but I mean that's a lot of carries there. So
I'm gonna give you some more money to play with. We'll go with
Drew. Drew's gonna join us. If you wonder where he is, he's gonna make a guest appearance. We're gonna put together one more FanDuel lineup with all three of us. He'll be on here in just a few minutes. So we'll go back to FanDuel, put together a lineup with the three of us. And, from there on, I don't know if we'll decide to shoot the shit for a little bit, answer some questions. Anybody has any, talk a little bit about Justin Fields, the narrative surrounding him. We'll see what we can get into after that. But let's go ahead.
I'll give you some. I want to play one of your plays, man, and give you some extra money to play around with.
I like that. Guy that I really like this week, guy that's I think he's averaging over like 20-something points whenever every game that he's been healthy on over the last like few weeks, and that's Gabe Davis in that Buffalo Kansas City game. I'm sure he's like super chalk, but they're playing rookie cornerbacks out there.
Man, 6,500 Gabe Davis.
Yeah, that guy's got a good chance of making something good happen.
So we're gonna have to.
Plus, it gives me a little bit of rooting interest there in that game. So
save a little bit of money and play Zay Jones, 4,200.
Is he hurt?
He is. Is he? I don't know.
I don't know if he's yeah. Because I'd hate for him to get rolled out. That's my only problem.
Who's a cheap wide
Marvin Jones always does seem to give the Colts problems whenever he plays the Colts.
He's probably cheaper than Zay.
Yes, you're typing went a little off.
I know. I'm having to look at my screen.
Marvin Jones, yeah, he's a little bit more expensive.
He's a little bit more. He's questionable too.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick. I'll double check here just to make sure.
Probably Ronald Jones.
That's a little rough.
I'll plug us in cheap defense while we're waiting.
Yeah, Marvin Jones, for whatever reason, he always seems to give the Colts a little bit of issues. So he is questionable.
Questionable. Okay.
So it looks like Marvin Jones and Zay Jones are both questionable.
Look at this guy.
Yo!
What's up?
Oh, look.
You're just in time to pick a cheap defense on DraftKings.
Pick a wide
okay, let's see. Cheap defense.
Giants.
Yep.
The Giants against our quarterback and
Oh, y'all got never mind. Y'all got a Lamar and Andrew stack. No, you can't go with the Giants. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Patriots against Cleveland. Patriots defense looked really good last week.
It did. 2,900 output fat.
Yeah, I like the Patriots defense against Cleveland.
They stopped the run, forced them to pass a little bit. It could be a good call for sure. Landon, who you got as wide receiver or flex?
That's tough, man.
We got Lamar, Ramondre, Henderson, Alec Pierce, Gabe Davis.
Christian Kirk at 5,800.
What's Adam Thielen looking like? 5,900? I'll take that. I'll take Adam Thielen.
I like that call.
Miami's secondary is pretty rough right now.
We got 4,200 to play around with. Wait a second. Let's do this. Hold on a second.
Yeah. Hit out.
Yeah.
Let's open up that flex.
You can play your boy Gentry, and we can have a 2 tight end team.
Man.
You may have to play your boy Gentry. We got 4,200 left.
You have to get a little creative down here.
He's 3K.
2,600. No, he's 2,600.
Oh my God! All right, look, we're changing our quarterback stack here. We have to. We have to. Let's go, Zach Gentry.
Woo!
Let's go, Burrow. We have 10K left over. Wide receiver. Who we got?
We got a flex. Go to that flex position. Yeah, we got everybody.
You can play anybody.
You can play whoever you want. We could go Jamar Chase.
I was gonna say, would you want to get rid of Gabe Davis then?
Yeah. Because that'll give us 8,800. You can play
Stephon Diggs. Look at that.
Burrow, Stevenson, Henderson, Alex Pierce, Stephon Diggs, Phelan, Gentry, Jamar Chase, and the Patriots defense.
Woo!
And you have 400 left over. So that's awesome. I love it.
All right. Let's go ahead. If you're playing with us on DraftKings, go ahead and lock that in. And we'll get back to FanDuel now. I know Drew wants to make a.
You still got like a quarter or something left over for me? You can throw in a lineup.
Landon made sure to mention what was like at 173. I've already got like several lineups built.
I was saying, I know you typically empty the bank every weekend, so I didn't know if you were already.
He unloads that clip.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were already chalked.
By Saturday morning rolls around, I know everybody's like, "Oh, well, he's the big DFS guy. He has $173, and it's not really that much for a big guy." And I'm like, "That ain't really what he's got that account. I promise you."
Oh no,
he unloads that clip.
Well, I play a lot of like single games, and they're some of the higher salary. Not like anything too crazy, but
yeah, I know. There's a few hundred.
Drew, you lead us off, man. Where do you want to start this bad boy at?
Let's get on the FanDuel, Jerry. You're on DraftKings.
Oh, son of a B. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I don't know shit about DraftKings, man. I don't even know if I have a DraftKings account anymore.
I do. That's what I started out playing was DraftKings, and then I just stopped transitioning. I'm strictly FanDuel now. Although I do like BetMGM. Like when I'm doing sports books, I love BetMGM. That's good stuff. So.
BetMGM, yeah.
All right, looky here.
I'm gonna mess with that Caesar Sportsbook a little bit more. I like it too.
Wow, I don't split them. So.
As a former employee,
they don't get any of my money. All right, Drew, kick us off.
We currently have two Joe Burrow teams.
Want to get a little different.
Oh, you got the Burrow Jamar Chase stack already?
Yeah, Lattimore's out. They're in a dome.
Yeah, no Lattimore, man. Jamar and T. Higgins is either going to be out or hobbled. Yeah, he's that's one of my favorite stacks this weekend.
Yeah, it's a good stack. Y'all have talked me off Lamar Jackson already.
Oh, look at this.
I'm a little nervous about Lamar this weekend too.
Landon's convinced me. I thought I was
saying he'll have a bad game, but I'm just saying, man, like one, Rashad Bateman's out. They're gonna bracket Mark Andrews, like because I doubt they play man at all. Like they're probably just gonna zone him and they'll bracket him with a safety over top, and they'll say, okay, let's make Lamar throw the ball from the pocket and use these wider, use the boundaries. You want to be
Lamar throwing though. I need him to run more.
Yeah, well. If there's anybody that knows how to neutralize him, it's the guy that's practiced against him every single week for the last 4 years.
Have you guys played Kirk Cousins or
I love it
or Tom Brady yet this week? Either one of those guys.
Neither one. Which one you want?
Kirk Cousins is one of my guys I was worried about.
Okay, well, let's do Brady then. The reason I say that is because
I'm out there. Minka Fitzpatrick's out.
Timmy Brady. Wow.
It's not because I don't think Kirk Cousins is a good play. It's because I worry that game script can get out of hand really easily. And
Yeah, with Skylar Thompson in
Yeah.
there, they might. Yeah, Minnesota could get up to a big lead.
Who
But
you
you,
want
you
stacking
always
with
you always
there?
got to do the flip side of that argument that if the game does get out of hand, it could very well be because Kirk Cousins went crazy.
Well, there's that, but also
You
too
know.
on the Miami side with Skylar Thompson, their clear path to victory is going to be running the football and ball control. So
Possession,
they're going to have high possession time and stuff like that. And I mean, it's
Yeah. The only reason that I brought him up was because
I don't mind playing him because I love Adam Thielen this week. I love Adam Thielen this week.
Well, we could do our full-on game stack with Brady because you can throw in Zach Gentry at tight end. And then we've got the Tampa Bay Pittsburgh game stack.
Why have I heard Zach Gentry's name like 3 times already since I got on?
Landon has convinced me Zach Gentry is the route to victory this week.
What? He's so fucking cheap. Right? So Pat Fryermuth's ruled out.
Okay.
It's in his second start. Zach Gentry's their starting tight end this week.
You know who I like to pair with, like to go with this stack. Like if we're going to do the Pittsburgh Tampa Bay.
Pickens.
No, I think we need.
That's who it is. It's George Pickens.
This is Drew's team.
Can you pick it? George Pickens' target share went up a considerate amount.
Well, Zach Gentry, whenever Fryermuth went out last week, Zach Gentry had 6 targets in 1 half.
I think you guys already got enough exposure to Zach Gentry this week.
Look, all I'm saying is, what's a rookie quarterback's best friend? It's his tight
typically the tight end. Yeah.
Not only that, but he's been taking second team reps majority of this offseason and to start the season. Who's the second team tight end that he's thrown to? Zach Gentry.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already chemistry. There's already
we can full on game stack it, man. We can put Pickens and Zach Gentry into this lineup and have
I'm terrified of that.
But let me my way of thinking. The reason I brought up those 2 quarterbacks was because 2 of the 3 teams that give up the most points to quarterbacks are on bye this week. The Raiders and the Lions are number 1 and number 3 in terms of points per game, the amount of points they give up to the quarterback position. The second team is Baltimore, so that means you got to play Daniel Jones. And then the 4th and 5th teams in terms of the teams that give up the most points to the quarterback position on a weekly basis through the first 5 weeks are Miami and Pittsburgh. So Kirk Cousins and Tom Brady. And I really like, so the fantasy footballers, shout out to those guys. I'm a Foot Clan member through Patreon for them. And one of their tools that they have is the Stream Finder tool, where it'll show you for each position how many points they've given up on each individual week and what their average is. And so now that we've got some weeks under our belt, I like to start using this tool to kind of try to find those plays. So that's why I brought up those 2 names, as they were kind of, for the sake of not playing Daniel Jones, they were the 2 next quarterbacks that were facing defenses favorable against the quarterback. Okay, so yeah, and then obviously the obvious Brady stack there is Mike Evans, which I mean, I don't know, Godwin's always tempting, but Mike Evans is just.
I just feel like Mike Evans on FanDuel especially need like touchdowns.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's
if we were on Draft Kings, I'd probably say Godwin, but I agree. I think Evans is better for FanDuel.
You go full on Kate Otten.
I don't hate that, man. If we get desperate enough at tight end, I don't hate that.
He's probably 5.
Just hope this matchup shoots the fuck out.
I don't think it matters. If Brady wants to like throw it, he'll throw.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite tight ends this week, and I'm hoping his ownership might be down. I haven't looked at the rostership percentage projections.
Kyle Pitt.
No, I'm not doing that again. George Kittle in the same game as Kyle Pitts. Atlanta gives up.
Or nothing.
Now we got to hope that Kyle Shanahan decides to let George Kittle run routes and stop blocking so fucking much.
God, he's due for something too, man.
That's what I'm saying.
As long as Trent Williams is out, I don't trust it. As long as Trent Williams is out, they will keep him in to block.
And that very well could be the case.
And not only that, but what's the crux of George Kittle? Well, yeah, like so. What we were just talking about here is whenever it's FanDuel, you need touchdowns. What's the one thing George Kittle doesn't do?
He used to.
There was a time back in my day.
Yeah,
Back in my day.
I mean, I'm starting him in fantasy in like 2 leagues. So I hope he blows up. But
what have you guys been playing at running back this week so far?
Brees Hall, Ramondre Stevenson.
I love Ramondre. He's probably going to be chalk, right? I would imagine.
Oh, super chalk, yeah.
But I think he's good chalk though.
Benjamin.
I think Ramondre is good chalk this week.
Agreed. I mean, there's just no competition, and they want to run the football. So
I said we need to look for whoever his backup is because that's the guy that's going to lead the team.
Pierre Strong week.
Yeah.
Let's if we're going Ramondre, let's get super concentrated. Let's go New England defense.
I like that.
And we still got 7,200.
Couple other running back plays I like this week. Darrell Henderson, Devin Singletary, Jonathan Taylor. He's an expensive one. I like what Jacksonville does against or doesn't do, I guess, against the running back position.
Yeah, but high ankle sprain with a bad offensive line.
That's true. That's very true.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
But we saw the last time the Colts played the Jaguars. They scored 0. So
I like Aaron Jones too.
Yeah, there you go.
Anybody's getting a rushing touchdown in that game, it's fucking Sam Ellinger. Backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback.
He leapfrogs Nick Foles. Did you see that news tonight?
I did. I saw that you. I saw you retweeted that.
Yeah, Nick Foles inactive. Sam Ellinger.
Aaron Rodgers is good to go, ain't
he? Yeah. Rodgers is going to play. He got taken off the injury report today.
Yeah.
You guys good with Aaron Jones?
I like Aaron Jones this week. It's always fun to play. It's always fun to play running backs against the Jets.
Well, also too, there's been some discourse there in Green Bay about them not using the running game more. Like I know Aaron Jones was kind of
little squeaky wheel.
A little upset about it. So
Landon, we could totally fit your boy in at a comfortable
I love a good squeaky wheel.
Oh, at flex?
Yeah, flex him in. Brees Hall. And you still got 7,200 left for wide receiver. I'm gonna let Drew pick it.
Thought we were going with Pittsburgh tight end there.
What do we need? What are we missing?
We got 7,200 at wide receiver.
Okay.
I mentioned Alec Pierce this week.
What's some of the guys 7,200 and down that we're looking at?
T. Higgins if he's healthy.
Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, Davis,
double stack.
Pittman, Olave can be a good one.
I'm scared to double stack Brady though.
Yeah, God. So T. Higgins fits the price.
Man, he's just perfect 7,200. No one's playing him. Nobody is playing him.
Yeah, because he's not going to play.
Because he put up zeros, like he was active last week and put up zeros, and he very well could do the same thing again. What about this is going to be gross, but where's Cortland Sutton at?
They're not on the slate. They're Monday night.
That's right. They put that stupid game on Monday Night Football. It's so dumb. I cannot believe where I'm sitting here able to talk about Chiefs and Bills players on the main slate, but I can't play the fucking Broncos.
You know who could be sneaky? Because Zay Jones and Marvin Jones are banged up, but they're probably going to play. This could be a Christian Kirk week.
I like him, and then I like the guy right above him too.
Amari Cooper.
I like both of those guys this week. I really do. What was the nugget I read on? Hang on, let me find this nugget I read on Amari Cooper earlier today.
He's good at football.
Everyone
wrote him off.
That was essentially the nugget. Amari Cooper has a 35% target share against man coverage this season to go along with 2.43 yards per route run. David Njoku is less active against man coverage. The Browns play the Patriots in Week 5, who uses man coverage fourth most in the league at 40%.
I think we just made our decision.
Plus, as we know,
shout out to Dwayne McFarland. That was a pretty good.
And we could change our defense too.
So Bill Belichick takes away your biggest strength. That's running the ball. Bill Belichick also is the guy that drafted Jacoby Brissett. Correct. he will make Jacoby Brissett beat them. If they want to win that game, Bill's going to say, "Hey, look, y'all aren't going to run the ball on us. We'll throw everybody up in the box."
Yep.
I agree. Jacoby Brissett, have fun.
Y'all want to get weird? So everybody's going to play that Chiefs-Bills game, right?
Oh, are you thinking about playing one of the defenses?
Let's play the Bills defense.
That is bold.
They have a good ceiling. If Kansas
City's put up a couple stinkers this year already. You never know.
I like I like your Colts defense this week too, man. That Jacksonville offense looks iffy.
It looks stagnant.
Colts defense is good. I'm not worried about the Colts defense.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
No, that's my point. Like the Colts defense has.
Well, the only worry is if it plays out like it has been lately for them, is the offense will turn the ball over in the reds. It's like they'll basically have to.
They're going to put the defense in bad spots.
Yeah.
We got 300 left over. You guys want to? Is there any adjustments you guys want to make?
I mean, if you guys want to pivot off Kittle at tight end, we can see if we can possibly go up at tight end. I know, Jared.
We can go to Kyle Pitts.
Landon does make very fair points against Kittle, and I don't really disagree.
What about Zach Ertz?
I love Ertz this week. Can we fit him into the lineup?
We got him.
Oh,
yeah, I like that.
$0 left over.
The Seattle Seahawks give up the most points to the tight end position on a week-to-week basis. They right now are averaging 23 points again, 23.6 fantasy points against.
Y'all watched Zach Ertz run bubble screens last week, so that's interesting.
I will.
It's not often you see a tight end running bubble screens in the NFL.
I will say this because of how stupid the whole Taysom Hill thing is. That is factoring into Seattle's fantasy points against for the tight end position because they did play Taysom Hill last week, but they did give up a humongous game to T.J. Hawkinson the week before that. So
they sure did.
And they gave Kyle Pitts his best week of the season, which isn't saying a lot. But long story short, I do like Zach Ertz quite a bit this week too.
So we got Tim Brady, Ramondre, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, George Pickens, Amari Cooper, Zach Ertz, Breece Hall, and the Bills defense.
I like it.
I like it too. That's a good one. Zach Ertz is going to go a little unnoticed, I think, this week too, because of all the freaking Rondell Moore chalk.
Hey, and if you want to go real cheap at tight end, if you guys are setting lineups later, anybody listening, right behind the Seattle Seahawks in terms of fantasy points given up to the tight end position is the Arizona Cardinals in that same game. And Will Dissly has been a little sneaky this year. Will Dissly's put up a couple good games. So
I don't know too if y'all saw this. If we're going with the Brady stack there, but you know whose shirt Tom Brady had on today in the press conference?
Chris Godwin.
He had on a Chris Godwin t-shirt in the press conference.
Godwin's the truth, man.
Making that money.
You could the way to make that double stack would work would be to take out Amari Cooper for Chris Godwin, and you can move around a little bit.
We do Evans and Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would really like Amari Cooper though against New England. I think that's a good play.
I agree. I think so too. Whenever I read that note from Dwayne McFarland earlier today, I was like, oh, okay, I got to get him in at least one lineup this weekend.
Yeah, I feel like the opposite way. Like as far as I don't like Amari Cooper, but I really like Jacoby Myers this week.
Yeah. Jacoby Myers just continues to fly under the radar for some reason.
Every year, all he does.
Well, especially the last year and a half, what he did toward the end of last year, and then it's just rolled on into this year. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just nobody wants to touch that New England passing offense. They're so boring. But there's still value to be had, though.
I like boring. Boring is safe.
I hate boring.
It's after what I've had to watch over the last few weeks, I love boring because it's fucking fundamentally sound good football. I don't care what it looks like.
Is Mac Jones playing this week?
No,
questionable.
probably
I
not.
saw he had the questionable tag.
Probably, I would imagine not. They'll probably just roll with Bailey Zappy.
Good
again.
old Zappy.
Zappy happy.
He's looked
Happy
good.
Zappy.
He's looked good. He's looked all right there in limited reps.
That's a solid. I think that's solid. I do. I think that's very, very, very contrarian.
Is it?
Right? Oh yeah, yeah. Outside of Ramondre, I mean, Aaron Jones is probably the next highest owned person, maybe 12%.
Okay, I like that.
Can you dig it?
So what else? What else has been going on tonight? I tried to listen a little bit while I was at my son's baseball game, but it gets a little loud and rowdy at those games. So what else has been going on tonight? What's some of y'all's least favorite plays, stuff like that?
There was a lot of basically we talked about
Quality Gentry.
Yeah, Zach Gentry was the number one topic tonight, and
I should have made him the thumbnail. Shit.
He's 3K on Draft Kings. Lane, it's a good call, Lane. I don't hate it. They're gonna have to pass to somebody, so
he's like no ownership either. Like nobody's on that.
Right. Yeah. He scores a touchdown
for good reason. Like that's gonna blow up in my face, right? Like,
but even if it did blow up, it's not like it would cost you. Not like it costs you anything, to make the investment. That's what's fun about those type of calls.
Yeah, if he gets 4 catches for like 30 yards, he's overachieved. Like you're in good shape at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, somebody said Zach Gentry had more fantasy points than Tyreek Hill. I fucking hate fantasy football.
Fantasy football's so stupid.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Now we
Taysom
talked
Hill
about Breece Hall, Breece Hall a lot this week. Like we said, Green Bay. I know we said it in the last show. The EPA for running against Green Bay is actually almost identical to the EPA of letting Aaron Rodgers throw the ball in both of his MVP seasons. So running the ball against the Packers is good. It's you have the same expected points added as you would if you let an MVP quarterback throw the ball. So
I never would have thought.
Yeah, especially Kenny Clark too, man. Like Kenny Clark's fucking good. I don't know what they're doing over there in Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay knows what they're doing over there in Green Bay.
I think Breece Hall.
I think Green Bay's asking themselves the same question. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's the
same question we've been asking everybody.
Yeah, that's the theme of every fucking episode, man. I sent you that thing today where Carson Wentz, he had Terry McLaurin right in there. And it was like
forcing it to J.D. McKissick.
Yeah, and it was like, do I throw my running back into coverage, or I have my wide receiver one wide open in a flat? Yeah. What option do I take? And not only that, but the ball wasn't even on target. Like he not only did he make the wrong read, he threw a bad throw. Yeah, so he made a bad read plus a bad throw. And I was like, man, what are we doing?
What about all these people killing Fields for the read he made at the end of the game on that David Montgomery shit?
Oh,
that's the setup.
Yeah, oh no, he knew what he was doing because I sent him that video earlier. It's fucking killing me, man. First off, I
trolled you on Twitter, and I never get on Twitter. But I got on there as Landon posted. To troll you. Well, no, Landon just posted. He was like,
"It's like I've been talking up Justin Fields all week, so this can't go wrong at all." Like right before the game started, and then like they used Justin Fields the correct way, marched all the way down the field, and then they immediately
were like, "Well, let's not do that shit ever again.
Yeah, let's don't do that anymore this game." And they made him a pocket passer. He bounced it off that dude's helmet. It got intercepted, and Jared just goes picked. I was like,
that was his weekly contribution to Twitter.
You're welcome.
I wish he would get on there more, man, because there's some fun shit on. I love Twitter.
Oh, I every once in a while, I don't know why I got on there. I was just like, I'm gonna get on this thing for a second, and that's it. Landon's thing was the first thing that popped up, and I was like, damn. As it happened, I just said picked.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not only that, so one, whenever Justin, if you did not, so I'm pretty
Why
sure.
do they? So can you just tell me this? Can you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Okay.
Why on that last play of the game,
The Darnell Mooney play,
perfectly drawn up play,
perfectly executed.
except for
one
thing though.
Okay.
Why do they have him lining up under center?
Under center, I have no fucking clue. I have no clue.
Why would you not have him in the shotgun so he has more time to see what's going on in front of him and like be able to, like, if he hits Darnell Mooney
The
even a little bit sooner?
The only thing I can think of is because that route needs time to develop into that is you want whenever you're taking your drop, but when your back foot, whether it's like a 3 to 5 step drop, I imagine that's probably like a 3-step drop. So whenever he hits that 3rd step, that route's just developing. You want to time that to where you're hitting your last step. That wide receiver's making his break. It's all about timing.
I know, but it's like it was so weird because like,
but you very easily instead of doing that,
Montgomery was going the other way, so it's like he had to turn his hips this way to fake.
Well, it was never like David Montgomery was never a read in that play. Like that's like, look, you have your number 1 wide receiver on your team matched up in man coverage on the goal line with, just singled out there like that. Like not only that, but it's your first read. You will take like if you're in the NFL, dude, you take that 100 out of 100 times. I've got my man on an island, my number 1 wideout on an island, game's on the line, first read, boom. Like you're not even looking anywhere else. You don't even look anywhere else. That's the matchup.
Right.
You see that pre-snap, you go to it immediately. But not only that, even if some miraculous way he did have time in that pocket, you're talking about David Montgomery being like, I know Justin Fields said it was his 5th read. That's not true because there were only 4 reads on that play. But he just got confused. But I know what he meant. But yeah, you're not even looking in that direction. Right. Like I saw a post earlier. It said Patrick Mahomes has got y'all thinking that everybody is just out here 360 no scoping guys. Like that's so not true. That's not a play to be that's made in that play call. And not only that, but it's basically just fundamental. And that's the problem with Twitter is people don't understand fundamental football. So, like I said, and the only change I would make to that play is, like you said, I wouldn't line him up under center because one, that takes away all the guesswork of the linebackers. Like if you're a linebacker, one, you're not running the fucking ball. I mean, come on. Game's on the line in the 4th. You've got 5 yards to go. You're not running. Right. Like we know what you're doing. Right. So the only thing I would do differently is just for timing purposes. I would put him in the shotgun, but I would run either an RPO or just like a zone read just to get the linebackers
just anything.
Yeah, just to get anybody moving because you're still going to that play, but just some kind of pocket manipulation because on the off chance that those linebackers do move whenever you hold that ball off, you have the option of, hey, I'm one of the most mobile quarterbacks in all of football. If they don't utilize me correctly, I can either run to the end zone, I can take my first read to Terry McLaurin, or if your linebackers push back from the RPO, you can hand the ball off. So you have 3 options on that one play of how can I beat this defense? And it's all within a split second. But yeah, he made the correct read. Like David Montgomery's not even a read in that play. Like it's stupid. And it's people that don't understand fundamental football. And
there was another play earlier in the game.
And it's not even what made me pissed off the most about it, man, and I really don't want to get into it. What pissed me off the most about it is you had people with actual national audiences echoing that. Like I'm talking about like guys like in the NFL media with hundreds big NFL media.
Big time Twitter check marks.
Yeah. And they're posting and that's the one thing I can't fucking stand is screenshot quarterbacking. I can't stand it. When you take a screenshot.
They just take a screenshot of the play.
Yeah, they take a screenshot of the play. They're like, well, I don't know why he didn't throw to this guy. So you have big time NFL media guys posting like, if he had any awareness, he would throw to David Montgomery there. And I'm like, bro, our videos are getting 6 fucking views this week. And you got this guy on Twitter with 125,000 followers spewing dumb shit. Like,
Yeah, it's
What
annoying.
in what world is this even? Like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?
What the fuck are we doing, man?
What the fuck?
I
Yeah.
know.
And so like, and then it got into the discourse of which that video I sent you of Justin Fields is a bust. Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. Justin Fields is this. Justin Fields is that. I like at some point today, like I just because it was like every other post, and it was from big media people, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, like I've had enough of this. And it was too much for me to type out on Twitter, so that's why I made that video. And I'm like, yeah, it's. And then it even evolved into the whole like Ohio State quarterbacks suck, so we should like CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's draft stock just tanked last night, and he didn't even play a game. Like it's just so fucking stupid.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, and you wouldn't believe how many people like because I made a post about it, and you wouldn't believe how many people got on that post I made. It was just like, well, he's an Ohio State quarterback. They should have never drafted. And I'm like, bro, like I don't know how many times I have to get on this fucking show, or if I have to get on Twitter, or if I have to do any of my breakdowns, and I have to tell people to scout the player, not the program. I feel like I'm gonna get that tattooed on my fucking forehead at this point because every single thing I've heard it more, and it's not even just
you know what we should do.
I heard it today with was it Bryce Young and Mac Jones and all because you can't evaluate Alabama quarterbacks properly. Bro, Alabama's one of the easiest places to evaluate a quarterback. You know how many actual NFL concepts Alabama runs and what they ask of their quarterbacks? Well, he's got a good offensive line. He's throwing he's throwing the NFL players out there. Well, guess what he's going to throw to when he gets in the NFL? Goddamn NFL players. Imagine that.
And he doesn't have a shitty college experience. You have to try to
piggyback
off of.
It's like the exact opposite of like
focus on the quarterback.
Like it's the exact opposite of whenever I broke down the Hendon Hooker film this week. Is they like yes, Hendon Hooker has a great base to work with. None of that shit he runs in Tennessee is like they're not going to run. You're not running wide receiver. You're not running option or choice routes with your wide receivers. You will never see that at the NFL level because guys are too fast. Corners are too fast. You're never gonna have wide receivers.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Yeah, and not only that, like you're not running splits. You're not running tempo like that. Like no NFL offense is gonna run that. So whenever he's out there and he's making these post snap reads, it's usually just you already know where you're going because it's built into the play. He doesn't have to go through progressions because that's not his offense. So you don't know if he can do that. That's what makes those guys so hard to evaluate. Alabama quarterback, well, I mean, and to an extent, Ohio State quarterback, it's kind of the same thing. Like they kind of run like a similar, not quite, to the extent that Tennessee does, but they run a lot of wide receiver choice, one read, balls out. That doesn't mean those guys can't do it. So, I mean, you don't knock them for that. I mean, you don't know. That's why you get guys in the combine. You get them in the interview. You watch other stuff. But like there's two quarterbacks this year that are asked to do almost more than any other quarterbacks in the entire nation that I've watched so far. And that's Will Levis of Kentucky, and that's Bryce Young of Alabama. Both those guys.
You saw how terrible Kentucky looked without Will Levis on the field this past week.
You know what the difference is between the number 7 ranked team and a team that gets beat that bad? Whenever you don't have an NFL quarterback in your college team, that's the difference.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's the same thing with Alabama. Because I heard it today. Well, like Alabama still won. Bro, did you see how much worse Bryce Young is in that offense? They beat that team by 3 touchdowns.
Jahmyr Gibbs had to put that team on his back for them to be able to win. Like he broke off 2 huge runs. So one last thing I'll say before I know you guys were probably on pace to get out of here in like an hour, and then I came in and fucked it up. But I think we need to start a clothing line, and we've already got our first 2 set of shirts. We've got "What the fuck are we doing?" and then "Scout the player, not the program." And then just put our logo on that shit.
Yeah, scout the player, not the, yeah. I'm getting that made for sure.
We got a clothing line ready to be built, man.
What the fuck are we doing?
I'm definitely putting that on a shirt. And if I ever go to a fucking Falcons game, I'm wearing that thing for sure.
Bro, if I need to get something else put on a shirt because if you would have been in the room with me last night and I said this to somebody actually. I texted somebody and I said if you only knew the amount of times I said, "What the fuck are you doing, Luke Getsy tonight?" Which is the Bears offensive coordinator. I was literally watching. I'm just like, I would literally just throw my hands up and be like, "Goddamn, Luke Getsy!" It's like what? Oh my god! Like it drives me nuts, dude. It drives me so much. Like trying to watch what the Bears are doing to that kid. Like
it's so annoying.
you have somebody with an elite, like, and not just a good skill, not just like a good skill set. It is elite level running from a quarterback. I mean, outside of probably Lamar Jackson, he has the biggest rushing upside of any quarterback in the NFL. And you know what they don't do? Design run plays. They finally, a little bit last night, they got him out on the move where he could reset the pocket because one, your offensive line fucking sucks. So what do you do when your offensive line sucks? You get your quarterback out on the move.
It's like Luke went to Cliff Kingsbury for fucking like it's like Cliff, give me some motivation on how to use my quarterback.
Creative than that guy. Like he's trying to run the Aaron Rodgers Packers offense with a guy that's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Aaron. He can't make throws that Aaron Rodgers makes. You know, there's like two quarterbacks.
Because I was going to say, like, there's like three guys that can.
Yeah. And guess what? You don't have one of those guys.
No, he ain't that. You're not that guy, pal.
Which, I mean, like, am I saying Justin Fields can never develop into a great pocket passer? No, because I think he can.
It sucks for Fields because there's like I feel like fitting your scheme to the player is becoming more commonplace around the NFL. But Justin Fields did not land in one of those spots though.
No,
he landed in one of those spots where they're still like, we're gonna make you fit our scheme.
He's in one of the worst situations I can think. And like the only quarterback that I can remember that was able to come into a similar bad situation like that and make it work is probably Andrew Luck.
Mm-hmm. It's the first thing that always comes to my mind too.
Yeah, like that was and you know how many guys inherit 2-win teams and turn them into instant playoff contenders? Not fucking many. So
the Redskins weren't a 2-win team at the time because they traded up for that pick, but RG3 did lead them to a playoff spot.
That's rookie year.
Yeah, they won like 8 games that year.
Yeah, that's another guy that kind of got. I still feel like he got fucked over.
Yeah. He got hurt too, man. Like, and then them drafting Kirk Cousins, like
it wasn't even it wasn't even the first injury, man. It was how they treated him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he should have never been out there after that.
He was the number 2 overall pick, and they drafted Kirk Cousins in the same draft. They had no faith in their first round pick from the get go.
I'm pretty sure Mike Shanahan didn't want him. I think he was forced.
He didn't. That was an
organization. It was the owner. Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to get off on a whole.
Yeah, so thing. like I shouldn't even say this because I already know. Like I know how this goes this week because anytime I say anything about the Chiefs, I get immediately blasted on the line. But like Patrick Mahomes, like you take nothing away from the guy. He inherited a playoff roster. Like
with one of the all-time best offensive minds.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like it's like you're not comparing, like people are trying to compare Justin Fields to be like, you know, oh well, Patrick Mahomes was picked 11th overall or like 10th overall. Justin Fields was picked 11th. Why isn't he Patrick Mahomes?
He's in a bad organization
because he doesn't have. He's
not Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, boy, like there's not many guys like that. But not only that, like Mahomes was able, like he came into a good roster already with elite tier weapons and an elite offensive head coach. He was able to sit and learn for a year before he was thrust into that role behind a veteran quarterback in Alex Smith.
Alex Smith's a good quarterback to learn from.
Yeah.
Like I've been bitching and moaning about like Mariota still playing and
Mariota's a good quarterback to learn from as far as being a professional.
Yeah, I feel like on the field, Alex Smith is also a good quarterback to learn from. Yeah. I don't really feel like there's a whole lot Desmond Ritter's learning watching Mariota on the field right now. That's the only difference I have there. And it's the same thing with
Oh, no,
Kenny
I still
Pickett
think
and Mitch Trubisky.
Marcus is smart. He's a smart guy. He'll be able to learn a lot from those meeting rooms. But
I will say one thing though.
I agree with that too. But he ain't taking shit from Mariota out there getting killed every Sunday.
I will give Mahomes his props on this. So Alex Smith got them to the playoffs. Mahomes got them to the Super Bowl.
yeah, he's a better player. I'm not arguing that.
I mean, that's the one thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's
he
not
inherited,
my argument. My
he
argument
inherited
is
that offense, but he also
and
put
then
them over.
he took him over the hill.
Yeah, but he was allowed to grow into that role. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, he was in a good position.
You guys remember the Patrick Mahomes discourse from the preseason that year, or those last couple games that year? Because I do, and it was, this guy does not look good. This guy looks like shit. I remember those preseason games. He didn't look good. He had more turnovers than, I want to say, like well, I know he had more turnovers than touchdowns, but like there's at one point he had a lot of turnovers in the preseason. And guys were talking like oh, this a wasted pick. This a wasted pick.
At the end of the day, that's what you
I
get
remember
for reacting
opposite
to the
of that. I remember them winning games, and people were still wanting Mahomes over Alex Smith.
But at the end of the day, if you overreact to the preseason, that's your own. That's going to be your own undoing anyway. Like, do we remember whenever Jamar Chase couldn't catch a football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that same year Tutu Atwell led the preseason, led the NFL in receiving that preseason.
Well, look at this offseason for a perfect example. Look at how good Justin Fields and Cole Kmet looked this offseason.
Yeah, Cole Kmet looked like he was ready to do everything I thought.
I even made that point too. Is like everybody's mad about Justin Fields, but it's not even Justin Fields they're ruining either. They're ruining Cole Kmet. They're ruining Darnell Mooney.
The Chicago Bears passed on George Pickens not once, but twice. Two different draft picks. They could have had George Pickens. And then they're like, no, we're going to take a couple defensive pieces, and then we're going to grab the oldest rookie in NFL history and let him fucking fumble punts for us instead.
They got economical. Saint
yeah,
Brown.
that shit is economical.
Economical.
It is fucking economical how bad that fucking receiving core is. Yeah, you got Dante Pettis catching bombs and Equinemius St. Brown.
Hey, Dante Pettis is underrated. I do feel like Dante Pettis is underrated.
Yeah, I got burnt by that like 3 years ago.
I tried to tell Drew three years ago on that one.
Look, people can still be hung up on Laviska Shenault, but I will keep my Dante Pettis.
Look, all I'm saying is, if you're out here peddling Dante Pettis propaganda, I don't want to hear shit about Alan Lazard because at least that dude played at least he catches a touchdown.
Yeah, I'll definitely take Alan Lazard over Dante Pettis.
Would you take Allen Robinson over Dante Pettis right now?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't. Because he can stretch the field. Allen Robinson cannot.
Yeah, maybe Dante
Allen
Pettis
Robinson can stretch the field. He's just his quarterback doesn't have time to throw him the ball.
I don't think Allen Robinson can stretch the field, man. Not like he used to. I think those years are over.
And you know what?
He's not like a huge separation guy, but you got to throw him the ball 50-50.
You know, there was a period where it looked like maybe the Achilles injury wasn't so bad for running backs. I think we might have come back the opposite way from that. Because James Robinson has come back down to earth. Yeah. I hope Cam Akers is okay. I don't know what's going on. He got ruled out for personal reasons.
Personal, yeah.
And
they said something about like he might not even be on the team much longer or something.
Well, McVay, got asked about it at the press conference, and he really wouldn't expand much. He just basically said that there was personal stuff keeping him out, and that they're working on it. So I mean, I know Cam dealt with a lot of shit mentally, being out and dealing with the Achilles injury and coming back and not, because like he was damn near averaging almost 5 yards a carry before he had the Achilles injury. It was like 4.7 yards a carry.
I was not worried watching him in preseason.
He was everything he was advertised to be out of Florida State before the Achilles injury, and then that happened, and we've seen, unfortunately, the lack of efficiency since he's come back. And then James Robinson, we were like, oh, maybe the Achilles injury isn't that bad. And he had a couple good weeks, and then he's back to being what people expected a post-Achilles injury running back to look like. And it's like, maybe we just got to accept the fact that if running backs have Achilles injuries, they're just not going to be the same.
Well, what sucks too, man, is like everybody kind of forgets the human element to these guys. Like
that was my point with the mentals talking about Cam.
Yeah, man, like
Mhm.
like I feel like I argue this every now and then too, because I get in arguments every now and then, and that little group I have, that football group, because we talk about players and stuff like that, and like it seems like some guys just like they're just then it was just like, well, like let's fire this guy, let's cut this guy, let's do it, and it's like, man,
It's just,
like,
they're just names on a stat sheet.
yeah, exactly, man. Like these are humans. Like these guys have lives and livelihoods and families to take care of, and like I never want to see, like, even with Matt Rule, like, was it deserved? Yes. I hate seeing people lose their jobs, man. Like, and I'm sure he's perfectly fine. He's going to be making $40-something million.
Yeah, he's going to get to chill at home and watch Red Zone like we do, and just.
And he'll be back in the NFL too, man. In some way, shape, or form.
I think he's going to be back in college, and I think he's going to be a head coach at like a prominent college. Like I think he's going to get one of these big college openings coming up because he's had good success. He's had good success in college everywhere he's went. So I think his name still carries a lot of weight.
And that's and like I read something. It was about him being like very hands-on. Like it's like he was a very hands-on coach. Like he controlled like what guys wanted to post on social media, like all this stuff.
You can't do that in the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, that's some college shit.
That's some college shit.
That's some college shit right there. Like and they all learn. And a lot of times, college coaches, not to say they can't be successful,
and that's some white people shit too.
That is some white people shit. But not only that, man. But like, I mean, you look at guys like Pete Carroll. Like Pete Carroll was not successful his first go around. It's something that he had to learn, and he learned his lesson the hard way. That second time he got back into the league, that's whenever everything changed, and he became, one of the better coaches that we've had in the NFL. Say what you will or what you want. I think he's still a good coach, but
I think he's showing it.
Yeah, good coach.
Right now he's really showing it with that team.
Yeah, man. With what he's made out of Geno and shit, like I can't
believe I didn't have Geno lineup this week.
You better believe I'm gonna have a Geno lineup this week against Arizona.
I'll have a Lockett, DK, Geno stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a Geno lineup this weekend for sure.
I think he's playing good. It's hard not to be on board with. I'm happy for the guy.
What's the thing that we've preached here? He was bad with New Jersey. He was bad with the Jets. Like most every quarterback has played for the Jets. So he goes to a situation now. He has a really good offensive line. He has DK Metcalf. He has Tyler Lockett, and he has a good offensive coordinator as well, who's playing to his strengths.
And he's got Will Dissly.
Will Dissly's a good player. Good running game too. Kenneth Walker looked good. Rashad Penny before he did the Rashad Penny thing.
He's practically the greatest. He's practically the greatest running back of all time when he's healthy. He just only gets to play like 4 games.
Good when he's healthy.
So good, man. It's so painful. Oh God.
It was a contract year this year too, I'm pretty sure.
That's one of my most painful players that I've like latched myself to, because every fucking time he goes on the field, I'm like, see?
Yeah.
But your argument too was him over Chris Carson, and like while Chris Carson was out there doing the damn thing too.
Well,
like that dude was good for 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards for like 3 years in a row. But I'm like, that's all he does, bro.
Penny also showed what he would do when he got on the field, but he got hurt early on. But part of the reason why I was so pressed on Rashad Penny was because of, one, what I saw on his college tape, and 2, the Seahawks used a first-round pick on the fucking guy. So I'm like, great, like that kind of draft capital. I don't give a shit who's in your running back room. Put that talented running back out there. But
and then they didn't.
That's explosive when he's out there.
Yeah, he was great.
Sometimes, I mean, as we saw it with Russell Wilson, man. They paid all that money to Chase Daniel. I mean, huge contract to Chase Daniel. They drafted Russ in the 3rd round. Pete Carroll, man, like, and that's how it
wasn't Chase Daniel,
huh?
It wasn't Chase Daniel. Matt Flynn.
That's right. You're right. It wasn't Chase Daniel.
Matt Flynn had the one big game.
Daniel's another guy.
He had that one game,
and they paid him.
Matt Flynn 5 touchdowns.
He got the bag off 1 5-touchdown game.
Hey, you know who called plays for that game? You know who the OC was for that game?
Oh, I could not remember to save my life.
Aaron Rodgers.
Shut the fuck up.
Aaron Rodgers called the plays in that game. It was week 17, last game of the season, bye week. They let Aaron Rodgers call plays in that game.
That's so funny because
They
Cliff
played
said
the
he let
Vikings, wasn't it?
Cliff said he let Kyler Murray call plays one preseason game
It's
this
twice. He did it twice.
year.
So the first time it didn't go very well for Kyler. It did not go well.
Yeah.
Second time,
the offense like threw a pick and went 3 and out, 2 straight drives or something.
yeah. The second time, they didn't score a single point in the first half with Cliff calling the play calls. Kyler called the play calls in the second half, and they scored like 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
Which, to be fair to Kyler, he's probably he's
Aaron,
on the sideline.
Aaron
Like,
Rodgers was the Matt Flynn game. That was an Aaron Rodgers special. If you didn't know, now you know. Oh,
that's so funny.
Yeah. Turns out Hall of Fame quarterbacks know what they're talking about.
they
Matt Flynn
tend to know ball.
robbed Seattle.
Yeah,
absolutely robbed.
Man, like that's what good organizations do, man. Is like once you get in, into camp,
put the guys out there that deserve to be out there,
bro. Yeah, draft capital don't matter, man. Like,
fuck,
and I know coaches say that shit all the time, bro. And like, you get in.
Very few actually do it though.
Yeah, very few actually believe. Like,
they typically like they're still gonna roll them out there, and they got to put up some stinkers for like 5, 6, 7 weeks, and then maybe
or like 2 years if you're Trent Richardson.
Yeah,
like every fucking week, man. I'm like, why aren't we playing Donald Brown? He looks a lot better. God, damn.
I still remember how excited you were whenever that trade got announced too.
Oh,
Me too.
So excited.
And
that's fine, bro.
I was excited for you.
Yeah, he just came off a big year with Cleveland.
I wasn't like a huge year, but like he didn't look that bad.
It was a decent year, and he was.
It was
first
more
round
than what
back.
he looked like at Alabama, man.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember watching him at Bama, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's like, we got Andrew Luck and Trent Richardson, like decades set, bro. We're money, dude. I don't know what. That's one of the strangest drop offs I've ever seen. Is like, and it wasn't even because a lot of the discourse once again it goes to Alabama. Well, his offensive lines at Bama were loaded. Like, he was running between huge holes. Bro, like...
He couldn't find a hole. He would run the opposite way of the hole.
It's like he was scared of the hole.
I mean, like, not in the NFL, but, like, in college, dude, his vision was, like, unbelievable. He had fantastic vision. Even in Cleveland, it wasn't that bad. And it's like the moment he got traded, I don't know if, like, he had it in his mind, like, he was going to be... third overall pick, you're the face of the franchise for the Browns. I don't know, but it's like his confidence just got completely shattered. And for a young player, that's my biggest worry with Fields right now, man. Is like if you're a young player like that and you have that big of a load on your shoulders, and once things don't start going well, once your confidence is shattered, it's so hard to get that back. Like, it's so hard to get that back. And so,
I think Fields is strong, man, mentally.
He is. He's he's a tough son of a bitch too, man. Did you see him last night?
Well, yeah,
that's what good players do.
That's still walking, so clearly.
Bro, that's a fucking shit roster. That is an absolute shit roster. And I know they played the Commanders, and I get it, but he still gave that team every opportunity to win that game last night. Mm-hmm. Almost by himself.
Pretty much.
Mooney had a pretty good game.
Mooney dropped the game-winning touchdown. I don't care how good of a game. Whenever the game is, I don't care like how good of a game you had. You had a chance to win the ball game. You dropped it.
Ekemius Saint, this shit is comical. Dropped another fourth down. Another fourth down pass, or like a little bit earlier in the game.
Dante Pettis dropped. Like Justin Fields had like 3 straight.
Listen to the names we're talking about that Justin Fields is throwing to. Like, Jesus Christ.
We can't even say one.
Dude, not like Darnell Mooney. I like Darnell Mooney.
No, yeah, Darnell Mooney.
Darnell Mooney
the
is not a one. He is not a one.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's a good player, but I mean, like
he'd be who he'd be a great number 2 with? George Pickens. Because George Pickens is a 1. He's not yet in the league, but George Pickens is an alpha. He's like that.
He's a bad dude.
I
don't even have to watch George Pickens like play wide receiver. I can watch George Pickens block, and I'm like in the head. Like
I love
watch George Pickens block.
I love watching him get off his routes whenever corners have him on press coverage.
Yeah,
he
because
flat out
you
just
can make
shoves
contact.
dudes
You can
over.
make contact within 1 yard.
Yeah,
So as
yeah.
long
And
as it's within that 1 yard,
he
you
will
can make
straight up
contact,
just
and he will,
shove them down.
yeah, bro, he will straight get into dudes, man. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
George
And he's like that in the
Pickens.
run game too. Like and I know there was some stuff like pre-draft and character
The
issues,
off-field shit.
the off-field stuff, and that's really why he dropped. He didn't have off-field stuff. He's a first round receiver.
It
Why do
was
you have
that
to go off on
it was that
FanDuel
and
this week?
that and injuries too.
Him and Zach Gentry. I need both of them.
I wasn't worried about the injury.
No, I wasn't either, but
The moment he stepped back, the moment he stepped on the field after that injury there in the playoffs.
Same old George Pickens.
Yeah, same guy. He's fucking good.
That's why I had him where I did. I agree.
He's a player. As we've seen in Indianapolis, you know what doesn't win ball games? Character.
Turns out it doesn't really matter all that
You
much.
can
if
have
your
the
locker room's
nicest
strong.
motherfuckers in the whole NFL, bro. They will shake your hand and tell you how great of a person you are. Walter Payton, Man of the Years, don't score touchdowns. I mean,
No.
I hate saying that too because I really do believe in the whole locker room culture. Like you need a good culture, but also
it's tough not to get burnt out every week.
Once you establish that culture, once you have those leaders and those guys, those work ethic guys,
something's got to come from it.
Yeah, bro. Well, not only that, but then you can once you have that base, once you have that locker room built, then you can take those shots on guys like George Pickens and stuff like that. That doesn't mean you avoid everybody forever. I mean, every little red flag, sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes there's been plenty of red flag guys that got their shit together and became Hall of Fame players.
Even if they don't get their shit together, Antonio Brown was a head case. Tampa Bay got him. They won Super Bowl. If you want to win,
you have to take shots every now and then, man.
I mean,
and if it doesn't work, you can't be scared, man. And if
they got him for nothing.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you know that saying, scared money don't make money? That's what it is. It's the same thing, man. You've got to sometimes you just got to pull the fucking trigger on a guy. And like I said, I get the locker room stuff. I'm a big proponent of it too. You gotta have vet leaders. You have to have guys that'll get into guys and step up and stuff like that. I'm 100% agree with that. But at the end of the day, man, you can't just keep passing on guys because they're not fucking Boy Scouts. It's a business. You either find a way to win or they'll find somebody else that will. So
that being said, I gotta jump off.
I mean, that's what it is, man. That's the whole thing. With quarterback, I've said that now about Chris Ballard for the last year or so. It's eventually he's gonna have to, bro. He's gonna have to find. Oh, later, Big Jared.
Later, guys.
Later, buddy. Eventually he's gonna have to find a quarterback, or if he doesn't find a quarterback, they'll find somebody who fucking will. I mean, that's right. I mean, it's a business. There's too much money on the line. I mean, it's cool, man. You can be nice guys. I get that, and I'm perfectly fine with that, and I appreciate it. I really do. But I mean, at the end of the day, you got to win ball games. You got to win the division. You got to make the playoffs. I don't know what it is with these owners, man, and handing out extensions to guys that haven't done shit. I don't fucking get it, man. I don't get it. I know continuity is one of the biggest things for you have to have a continuity in the NFL. That's one of the biggest proponents of success.
Mm-hmm. But
eventually, man, you gotta fucking win ball games. I don't know, you gotta win ball games, dude. If you're 6-7 years in and you still haven't won a division,
it doesn't matter how many of the same guys you got in the room,
bro. If you're out in Arizona, dude, if you're 5-6 years in and you continually how many
short.
Yeah, how many division titles have the Cardinals won in the last 5 years? None.
I
don't think any. How many playoff games have they won?
I don't think any.
Yeah, they get there. That's cool. You're a wild card team.
Yeah, they make the wild card.
You limp into the wild card every year.
Yeah.
You don't even it's not even a strong push. You're playing your You're playing your worst football in December and January.
They got dusted, but like the Rams beat their ass in the wild
I mean,
card
it's,
last year.
I mean,
Like it
it's
wasn't
every
even
year, dude.
close.
It's every year. So I mean, like, what have you done? What have you shown me that I need to give you a 5-year extension?
I sure am thankful that Arizona doesn't agree with that way of thinking.
That's why bad teams stay bad, man.
Yeah.
That's why bad teams stay bad.
Like even McVay and Les Snead couldn't get an extension until they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, dude. And then you have, I mean, and it goes both ways though too. You have some teams like fucking Washington, like they've just been bad for like 20 something years because their owner's just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
that's a whole other thing, man.
They go through head coaches like candy. There's no continuity.
Nobody wants to stay there.
Yeah, it's a toxic work environment.
They get in that building for a year and they're like, man, fuck this. Like,
Bro,
I don't want to be a part of this.
I wish I was a billionaire. I really do.
Oh, I would love to own a team, bro. Oh.
I don't even want to own a team. I just want to be a GM. I've had this talk a million times. I've even had this talk like a couple times in the last week because everybody's like, well, why don't you become a scout? You know, and you do all these videos, you like doing all this. Like, have you ever thought about being a scout? And it's just like, yes, I do. One, I don't want to be on the road 300 nights out of the year away from my fiance. No thanks. Two, I'm not giving up how much money I make to go back to making $35K at most.
Yeah.
Be on the road for 300 nights a year.
You gotta really love it.
Yeah, dude. I do. I really do. But like, I got a cushy job. I can still enjoy it. I can scout right now. You know.
Yeah, we can just do it for fun and then victory lap it.
This big 70-inch TV. You know, I've got a USB drive with literally hundreds of prospects on it. I'll just throw one up there. I'll sit back here on the couch, watch some film, make some notes, put some stuff on Twitter. I'll get some right. I'll get a lot wrong.
It's just the nature of it. That's part of the game.
That's what it is. My main thing, though, is like what I like to do is like when people like I love when people ask me questions about stuff like kind of like what you did earlier. You were like explain it to me like I'm 5 because like I can get into all this terminology and people look at me like I'm speaking Chinese and like nobody.
That was the most baffling thing about the whole fucking play design to me,
I said man. It the moment they lined up, dude. The moment they lined up, I'm like, why are they under center? Why?
Because I love the route that Mooney ran was a perfect man beating route, and Mooney was out there on an island. Like that part was great, but then I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, like
I think that he was under center, but like I said, more than like, and I say more than likely, like I know why because it's a timing route, and so you want him to be hitting his backs, his step on the drop whenever that route's coming open, so you can throw that ball in rhythm. It's rhythm and timing is all it is.
The only thing that I'll say to that is they need to figure out how to get that same play, the timing down from shotgun. Because I feel like that shit would work so much better if Fields has that POV from shotgun for the whole time. I feel like that's just going to set him up for success better.
You can run a play action. I mean, that's literally all it is. Because all you need is what? I don't think it was a 5-step. I'd have to go look at it.
I don't think it was either. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, all you're looking at is like 1, 2, 3 balls out. So
that's long enough for them to hike the ball and him to.
And that's what I'm saying too is, and that's what's so dumb about people doing the whole read thing. Like, why isn't he throwing it to Dave Montgomery? It's because it's a timing route. You're not even once you identify pre-snap, you have your guy. Yeah, like you have what you want. You're not looking anywhere else. So
no, there's no need to.
Yeah. So I mean, like once you identify that, at that point, it just becomes like, okay, let's run the route.
Yeah, that guy over here on the other side of the field is a fucking afterthought. Like
you're never gonna throw that. Like It's all great. Like it's all cool whenever you're like playing Madden.
He's gonna scream.
Whenever you're playing Madden and you have a skyline view of the field and you can see all 22 players and where they're at. Like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. That's not real life. That's not how that works. So yeah, at that point it just becomes 1, 2, 3 balls out.
Yep.
By the time you hit 3, that guy should be making his break, ready to get the ball.
Right.
So instead of just having him make a 3-step drop, what I would just do is just run a play action 1, 2, 3. You pull the ball, and you pull the ball on 2. You're already looking that way. Boom, ball's out. You got it. And even then, I mean, he put the ball in a great spot. In his hands.
Everything that went wrong, Mooney still should have caught it.
Yeah, I mean, it hit his hand. Like, I don't agree with him being under center, but at the same time, the play call worked. Like, it hit his hands.
Yep.
I said, I tweeted that out last night. I'm like, man, you can throw it to him, you can't catch it for him.
And then that's all you can do. That play earlier in the game wasn't Cole Kmet, but the other tight end. The dude looked the dude looked like he was fucking running in sand.
You want to know why that is? Okay, so
like I get he might have been trying to track the ball and shit, but why are you running like it's your first
time? It was
time
that, but not only that. So like whenever you're teaching guys to run these routes like that, whenever you're especially like go routes or like when you know the balls, when you're leaking guys out, stuff like that. You're teaching guys you want to run through the route. That's literally what they call it. You run through your route, which means you're sticking your foot in the ground. You're getting upfield. Your head's not like you're not turned running. That was the problem.
As fast as you can.
So if you look at the way he's running, his hips, because he's trying to track the ball.
Well, the whole time his head is turned this way.
Well, and because his head's like that, his hips are parallel, and it's like he's running almost sideways. So he's not running through the ball. So whenever you're a quarter, I mean, like, yeah, it's a bad pass if you fucking sling it into the second row, but at that point, all you can do as a quarterback is put a little loft on that ball, and it's your guy's job to run under that ball.
Yep.
I don't care if it's 10 yards. I don't care if it's 5 yards. He had, like, if that tight end does his job, that's a touchdown. That's all you can do if you're a quarterback is he made the right read. He made the right call.
Yeah, nothing was wrong with that throw.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that throw at all. That's 100% on the tight end. And I saw it in real time. And once again, man, it's the fucking check mark brigade. Hashtag NFL draft scout. Hashtag NFL analyst. Like, I can't believe Justin Fields didn't make that pass. It shows you how bad. I'm just like, God, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing?
It's painful, man.
These guys get paid. These guys get paid to cover the league. Paid money, like real money.
Good money.
There's somebody out there paying. Yeah, there's somebody out there paying these guys real money to cover football, and you can't even diagnose. I mean, I tweet like literally on the play, like I mean, just instantly. Like I instantly saw it. If you know what you're looking at, anybody that even has like a modicum of football knowledge, you knew what was wrong with that play the moment it happened. Like you saw it. And that's not even getting into like advanced like knowledge of football. Like you knew what the issue was.
Right.
And I don't know, it could just be for likes and clicks and so, I mean, I'm sure that's some of it. But
that's definitely part of it.
I mean, like you're always going to get like
the impressions.
Yeah, you're always going to get the impressions, the more negative you are, like as opposed to like, actually teaching people about the game of football and make,
That's the whole issue with like being on the internet. That's the whole like people digest that shit and then they just regurgitate it as knowledge. Like what this guy said.
It's so funny too. It's like because like I said, I sent the tweet out and I'm like, man, like that's nothing wrong with that throw. That's all the tight end. Like, and then today, of course, you had some guys come out. Like you had Trent Dilfer came out and he was just like, yeah, it's not on Justin Fields. And you had there's somebody else too that came out.
The people with fucking common sense.
Yeah, well, actual people that understand concepts and know football.
Right.
Like, yeah, and they came out and they're like, oh yeah, that's on Justin Fields. And then everybody's just like, well, yeah, like Trent Dilfer said it's not on Justin Fields. And I'm like, okay, well, like, I don't care if you listen to me. Like I said, I'm not always like, trust me, I promise you. I know I'm not always right. Even though I sound condescending sometimes and all that, just because shit pisses me off. But at least people, like, when guys like that have an audience and their dude like Kurt Warner's really good about it. Even Sherman's really good about it. RG3's good about it. Trent Dilfer's good about it. Orlovsky's awesome at it.
I love Orlovsky. I
Orlovsky's really
love.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you have guys like that have huge audiences that like really care about the sport and like they try to like because they
try to educate people.
Yeah, and that's what's great about football is like the more informed you are about what actually takes place and what you're actually looking at, the better fan you are. Like the better football fan you are, the better player you are, whether that's, if you're a coach of a high school team or if you're a player on a high school team, the more you understand, the more it's like that rainbow meme where it's like the more you know.
The more you know.
Like, yeah, like bro, like it's the more you know.
That's
like
real.
That makes you better, man. So I always like if you're like I don't care if you listen to me or not. I don't have a check mark by my name. I got fucking 600 something followers. Like it is what it is. But if you don't like, I'm glad you're listening to like some of those guys. Like I will 100% point you. Like I know, like I think I made a thing the other day about JT O'Sullivan, like with the quarterback school. You go on YouTube, watch quarterback school. He's really awesome about it. Benjamin Solak, Duke Manyweather. Yeah, Ben's great. And then they've got Duke, his partner there. Any offensive line or defensive line play, like phenomenal guys. There's so many good, smart people to listen to over people with like, or what was that? What were we talking about yesterday with the Mahomes
the
Justin
Chiefs reporter?
The Chiefs reporter. He's got like 58,000 followers or something, and he was
using fucking quarterback wins as his argument.
Yeah, well, not only that, but it was the dude that I seen. I was like, "This is my favorite one," because I was like, "Well, like Josh Allen's like a special player," and he was like, "Well, he's not special enough to win games," and I'm like, "Oh, fucking god, dude! Like, come on! Like this guy's got followers. Like,
yeah, it's
like, what do I gotta do, man? Like, what do I gotta do to get some help out here? Like." We need to get our follower count up. It's so disheartening to put out like thoughtful content that
it's not what people want to see.
I know, like they don't want to learn, bro. They want to see me and you. They want to see me and you get on here and be like, "I'm gonna tell you why Dak Prescott fucking sucks cock," and then you're gonna be like, "Well, I'm going to tell you why Mike McCarthy ruins Dak Prescott." And then we just argue for 45 minutes. And that's what people want to see. Like nobody wants.
And don't really say nothing the whole time. We just yell. Like don't really make any points or anything. Just yell at each other.
Shit's like the hot take industry, man. But
that's what the First Take and the Undisputed and that's what all like people.
Josh Allen's not special enough to win ball games.
There's nothing wrong with watching those type of TV shows, but like people use that type of shit to educate themselves. Like they're not watching it for entertainment purposes.
They think that's like, oh well, these guys have a check mark. These guys are on TV. They're well informed. I'm gonna take what they say.
Half the time, Stephen A's fucking talking about players that ain't even on the team no more and shit. Because the ESPN's got that man going 12 different ways.
No, man, I feel so bad for him. It's like let's go to Stephen A. Smith covering the Avalanche versus the Las Vegas Knights. I'm like, why does this guy do it to hockey?
The very next day, let's go to Stephen A. Smith at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I'm like, man.
They got him everywhere. He's
earning every bit of that contract. I feel bad for him.
He sure is. So every once in a while, he's going to get on TV and say some stupid shit that makes no sense. But the guy probably hadn't slept in 3 days. But then you got thousands of people that are watching that, and they're like, "This guy's preaching the gospel. I'm going to get on the internet and regurgitate the same shit."
Well, also too, the big thing too is like people want to live in an echo chamber. So
that's all it is.
Like today, for example. I'm trying to talk about Justin Fields and, while acknowledging his faults as a player, like I'm not saying the guy's perfect process. He's not. His footwork needs work. His base needs work. He needs a lot of. He really needs to get with a quarterback coach this offseason. He has to rebuild his base from the ground up. There's no denying that he's not accurate, and a lot of it's because of that. But also too. like you have to understand the situation he's in. So like I'm trying to talk about that, and like if you think Justin Fields is the worst thing that ever happened because he went to Ohio State, nothing I say is going to change your mind. Like,
Right.
you want what you want out of me is you don't want me to try to educate you about the game of football. You want me to get on here and say, well, yeah, man, Ohio State quarterbacks fucking suck. They're never going to be
They just want somebody
successful.
to agree with them.
Yeah, like you just want me to affirm your belief whenever they're completely off base to begin with. But I mean, yeah, that's all it is, and that's all Twitter is. That's why I can get on there and make, or never mind. I'm not gonna say that because I'm gonna get in trouble. Let's say that, man. I won't get in trouble. I'll tell you after we log off of here, though.
All right, let's do that.
All right, so if you guys joined us, I know you're probably long gone at this point, but if you are live, I do want to thank you guys so much for hopping on with us. Glad we got Drew back on here for the last part of this. Go ahead. Let us know if you played any lineups, if you played our lineups, win some money together, like, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter as well at 3Man Rush Podcast. Go ahead and give us a follow out on there. And then our description, you can follow us out here as well. So, just thank you guys so much for the support. And we will see you next week, week 7. Let's go ahead and get it.